Prosecutors also revealed Anthony had a history of getting into fights, that it was something he liked to do.
There are several documented instances of Austin using racial slurs in school, and in 2023, Austin was accused of bullying a black student in class.
So based on this new information, text messages from Karmelo Anthony's defense team about his behavior that day, including information about Austin Metcalf and his brother, does this actually change what's going to happen in this appeals case? Will this overturn that guilty verdict that sent Karmelo Anthony to prison for 35 years?
We've also learned the then 17-year-old was obsessed with knives and guns and had fantasized about stabbing someone, including in this text message investigators found where he said, "When I stab somebody, I'm going to lick their blood off the blade."
Yeah, so when I hear that, that sounds like a teenager who's mentally troubled and filled with rage and anger. Who would even text something like that to their girlfriend, thinking somehow that's cool? Or and by the way, his ex-girlfriend went to the authorities at the school to report this. Too bad they weren't able to stop him, as we know what happened on that fatal day. But more importantly, where do we go from here?
Prosecutors never shared any of those details during the trial, though, because of an agreement they made with the defense that both sides would avoid character evidence. Those details about Anthony and claims from the defense that Austin Metcalf had a history of bullying, violence, and a previous case of spraying racist graffiti that said the N-word, KKK, kill all black people, Heil Hitler. Instead, both sides would focus entirely on what happened under the tent at the track meet.
Yeah, those words from Austin Metcalf is exactly how the woke mob survives. They're looking for white people who speak that way, even if they're a 16-year-old or 17-year-old who's had anger problems majority of his childhood. What is the woke mob saying all about this? Let's take a listen.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! Say his name! Karmelo! What's his name? Karmelo! All right.
Yeah, so what do we want? Justice. And for who? A guy who stabbed someone in his heart and we believe he's innocent. That's who we want justice for. And the reason why we want it is because the guy he stabbed in the heart said some racist things as a teenager. So he deserves to die. And Karmelo does not deserve to be held accountable for it. I mean, literally, that's how they're thinking, folks. This is dangerous stuff. I think this is what's plaguing our society. I'm sure me and you both agree that the behavior from both of these kids are definitely nothing to write home about and just shows the indictment on both families and our culture as a country. But again, that doesn't change the facts of the case. He clearly stabbed an unarmed man, or an unarmed teenager, that is. Again, where is this new defense team going, and why was it a major mistake in regards to what they did here?
Quote, how many bullets you want coming out of your chest? And then another one, when I stab somebody, I'm going to lick their blood off the blade. And then finally, I'm low-key on the verge. These were all texts that he sent to his girlfriend or slightly estranged girlfriend.
Yeah, highly relevant and highly damaging to Karmelo Anthony's arguments here. It would have been incredible evidence for the prosecution to have presented, but they did have this agreement with the defense. And to explain this too, this is usually how it works. The prosecution cannot just get into unrelated character evidence of the defendant unless the defendant somehow broaches that issue. So they had an agreement. We're not going to get into, you're not going to present evidence about the victim. We're not going to present character evidence about the defendant.
Did you notice that big mistake his defense team made? They made an agreement with the prosecution to not disclose this type of information about their client. And in return, the defense team was unable to disclose this information about Austin Metcalf. But even if you had disclosed both of these stories about these men, what is the problem? One actually acted on that information within 24 hours of saying it. Austin Metcalf had a history of this, but none of that was reported on that day of this fatal situation. But it doesn't matter if you threaten to use knives and violent weapons in order to potentially hurt someone and then celebrate over it, because the people who are supporting your cause, that's their MO, also known as the modern day Black Panthers, who decided to show up with Mrs. Chubby.
We've been fighting for justice all across America, KKK. We all here today because we already knew what the verdict was going to be. We knew it was going to be racist. We knew when it was an all-white jury. We knew when the judge and the DA was at a party with Metcalf's dad. The judge should have recused himself. The DA should have recused himself. The fix was in.
So that's what the modern day Black Panthers call it. It's a fix. It's because of the judge. It's because of the DA, not because a angry black kid that day decided to make his dreams come true. Too bad he wasn't able to lick the blood off that blade. And I'm not actually poking fun at him, but I'm just calling it what it is. Unfortunately, no one wants to see things like this play out. But notice the difference between people who support Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf's father. Here he is going on to Chris Cuomo last night and saying this.
Yeah, information did come out. I'll be honest, as a father, I was disappointed. Very disappointed in seeing those things. But at the end of the day, it's really about the facts of the case, because I have to relive this all over again. And no matter what the outcome of this is, my son's never coming home.
It takes a certain type of character to go onto the major network and admit the behavior of your son and why it was bad and how you are not proud of that behavior. When's the last time you heard a parent actually doing that, especially a parent who is a person of color, as the left may call it? But here is the kicker of it all. Notice how differently the parents have responded to this tragedy. One has decided to take responsibility and launch a foundation, and the other, well, I wonder what they did with that $600,000 that they got from the public and the woke mob. It's a very interesting question.
We will protect our land. This is the Devori Darkin Show.